Channel 4, WWL TV, New Orleans. This is Channel 4's Eyewitness News.
Good evening. Well, gasoline price wars are being reported in a dozen-plus cities across this nation this evening. Gasoline prices at the pump were reported as low as 62.9 cents a gallon. That was in Denver. Now, the latest survey shows the average self-serve pump prices for regular gasoline is 90 cents a gallon, and regular unleaded gas is at 97 cents a gallon. And although some competitive pricing is being observed here in the New Orleans area, it is not as widespread or as dramatic as that in cities like Atlanta or parts of Kentucky. Meanwhile, New Orleanians are still waiting to get in on the front lines of the gas wars. They're just enjoying gas prices that have fallen more than 30 cents a gallon since last year. Some businesses are saving thousands at the fuel pump, but Cheryl Hickman reports they don't expect the good times to last.
With a fleet of 14 trucks for his air conditioning business, Kim Guzman is used to paying high gasoline bills.
Our gas bills run in the summertime, in our peak months, about anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month.
Falling gas prices now are not only saving the business money, but could fuel some expansion.
A few $100s a week times 52 weeks a year, sure. Might make a big difference. Might allow us to add another truck.
But many businessmen are also predicting they will be pinched over the long haul. They feel falling gas prices are an indication of a generally weak economy.
I'm glad that the gas falling, but it's going to hurt the economy sooner or later. There's so many people that comes to town, they're big money people that they just won't be able to come anymore.
Tyrone Thompson has been driving a cab for just over 2 years, long enough to learn that falling oil prices affect the entire economy of the state.
It's going to be impossible for us to make money if there's not any people coming to fill up the hotels or anything.
And Guzman admits that his savings may be short-lived.
Although I'm glad to see the fuel price come down, it concerns me that business is going to, fall off even more so than it already has.
So Guzman is taking advantage of the savings now and hoping that money will help tide him over the lean times he's sure will come. Cheryl Hickman, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
Well, New Orleans firefighters today apparently ended their second sick out in as many weeks. About 117 firemen called in sick over the weekend as part of their ongoing protest with the city over its failure to implement a pay hike. Things appear to be normal at most fire stations around the city today. Meantime, the city is attempting to set up another negotiating session with the firefighters union later this week. A highly toxic chemical spill forced the evacuation of 1,500 people from Springville, Alabama for a while today and injured 18 other people. It all began when a tractor-trailer truck driven by 30-year-old David McCabe of Gonzales, Louisiana, blew a tire and overturned along Interstate 59, closing both lanes of traffic for some 12 miles. 4,000 gallons of a colorless, sweet-smelling chemical McCabe was transporting from Geismar, Louisiana to Tennessee spilled from his truck. Both McCabe and a passenger are being treated tonight for injuries sustained when they inhaled the chemical fumes, and they're said to be in stable condition. 14 other people who helped rescue the pair were also treated after they inhaled the fumes. In West Germany today, some 87 vehicles were involved in a pileup on one of the country's major highways. It happened on the Autobahn between Stuttgart and Munich. Low visibility caused by heavy fog was blamed. 22 people were reportedly injured, 16 of them seriously. The Reagan administration today denied that it has sent signals to Congress indicating it may be willing to compromise on aid for Nicaragua's Contra rebels. The administration has proposed giving $100 million to the rebels to help overthrow the Sandinista government. Meantime, speaking here in New Orleans, former Defense Secretary James Schlesinger today said that Nicaragua is not a threat to the United States, as President Reagan has warned. The former CIA director says the administration is dealing with rhetoric when it warns of a communist tide sweeping through Central America. Well, it may be several days now before we know more about what happened to the Challenger astronauts. Sources at the Kennedy Space Center say that some of the astronauts' remains have already been recovered from the ocean floor, along with debris of the shuttle's crew compartment. NASA says, however, it will not come in until the recovery operation is completed because of the wishes of the astronauts' families. John Getter reports now on the mood among the astronauts in Houston.
There was a somber mood again at Johnson Space Center as astronauts and space workers began their week. The search of the Atlantic had turned up the remains of their comrades who died on Challenger, and again turned up the very tough emotions of grief they thought they had faced at memorial services.
Just seen the skip the interview this morning. It's not the best of days for talking about things. Let's see it.
Still, there was a lot of talking to be done. Talk about this, a strongly worded memo from NASA's chief astronaut, John Young. Young wrote a memo last week, which was released over the weekend. He listed several decisions to launch shuttles which he termed questionable, said some flight crews were lucky to be alive, and said that if managers continued to, he felt, put flight schedule ahead of flight safety, the 3 remaining shuttles and the astronauts would not survive. Senior astronaut Gordon Fullerton was willing to talk on camera, even though Young was not. He says there is a constant debate between those who put flight safety first and those responsible for meeting schedule goals. He says Young and others have argued for years for greater safety margins, and some feel the Challenger disaster could have been avoided.
If the review process within the management overlooked and signed off, as you will, on a obvious technical flaw that had a strong potential for disaster, then that's disturbing, not surprisingly.
The Presidential Commission is investigating that very question. Fullerton and others say they will await the results of that inquiry before passing judgment. At Johnson Space Center in Houston, John Getter for CBS News.
Trans World Airlines and its flight attendants union have now agreed to return to the bargaining table. The National Mediation Board said late this afternoon that both sides have agreed to sit down Wednesday morning in an attempt to end a strike by 6,000 attendants, which began last week. Philadelphia Mayor Wilson Goode today held his first news conference since a panel ruled that he abdicated his responsibilities by allowing police to bomb the headquarters of the radical group known as MOVE. 11 people were killed in the confrontation nearly a year ago. At his news conference, Mayor Goode said that he would not resign and that he didn't think that a grand jury investigating the incident would indict him. Listen to what Goode had to say this afternoon.
I do not feel that I will be indicted. I do not feel there's a reason to do so. And secondly, I think that what is more important than my re-election is to regain momentum in this city. And we have 22 months in order to do that. And my top priority above everything else is to regain the momentum that we had prior to May 13th, 1985.
Political and business leaders from across the nation joined other mourners today at the funeral of former Senator Jacob Javits. Javits was praised for his courageous fight against the illness and his distinguished record in Congress. The 81-year-old former senator died Friday of Lou Gehrig's disease, which he had been battling since 1979. Javits had served in the U.S. Senate for 24 years. Well, when we return, a New Orleans teenager gets 10 years at hard labor. And the district attorney wants private firms to help supply him with legal assistance. These stories and more coming up next.
We've got the shape you want to be in.
With 9.9 annual percentage rate financing, we've got the shapes you want to be in. Get 9.9% financing on Mercury Topaz and Cougar V6. Get 9.9% financing on Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town Car, and 86 Mercours XR4 Ti. Plus, get 7.7% financing on Mercury Lynx. Hurry in and get into the financial shape you want to be in.
We've got the shape the shape you want to be in.
Puzzles, prizes, and surprises await you here on Channel 4. Where the wheel decides your fate. And your fortune is your score. On the wheel.
A fortune.
Cruises, cars, carrots, and more. Tonight on Channel 4.
There's something special in this package. A perfectly baked Chef Pierre pie that you just warm in your oven or microwave. Imagine the glorious taste of a pie this fruity, this juicy, this tempting. A pie that's ready in minutes and perfect every time. Try all the baked perfect pies from Chef Pierre. The pies that are already baked and ready to warm in your oven or microwave. They're waiting for you in your grocer's freezer now.
There's only one decaffeinated coffee with a fresh roasted flavor of CDM. CDM decaffeinated. Now that's fresh roasted.
Aim high. Air Force.
One of two New Orleans teenagers convicted of shooting a man in the Desire Housing Project was sentenced to serve 10 years in hard labor today. 16-year-old William George is the second youth to be sentenced in connection with the death of another teenager on Frenchman Street last year. The second person convicted in the case, 17-year-old Brian McCullum, was sentenced earlier to 21 years in prison. Well, keeping criminals off the streets may become a little easier under a plan being proposed tonight by New Orleans District Attorney Harry Connick. Connick is proposing that some local lawyers in private practice spend some time being prosecutors. Taylor Henry reports the plan would give the DA's office and his underpaid staff a shot in the arm.
John Boss is an assistant district attorney in New Orleans. His job, to bring criminals to justice.
Are there any motions by the state? Not this morning, Your Honor. We'll call the first matter, please.
Being a prosecutor like Boss has its good and bad points. The job gives a lawyer plenty of experience at trying cases, but to get that experience, the lawyer has to settle for less pay than many private firms offer. The result, those private firms have the upper hand in the competition to hire the best lawyers. District Attorney Harry Connick has come up with a plan for lawyers to have the best of both worlds. Under the plan, private firms would loan lawyers to the district attorney's office. The lawyers would get a full salary at the district attorney's office, plus any additional pay provided by the firm. Under the proposal, the district attorney might have an easier time recruiting good lawyers to help prosecute people charged with breaking the law. In turn, the lawyers would get experience where it counts, here in the courtroom. Connick has already offered the plan to some of the city's top law firms, and he is now waiting for their response.
Well, my folks try very hard and I think do better than most DA offices. It's not what we really want by way of performance.
Connick hopes some private lawyers will help him and his assistants like John Boss keep criminals off the streets. Taylor Henry, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
Well, Arkansas Department of Health officials say there have been no reports of sickness tonight from consumption of milk contaminated with the pesticide heptachlor. Stores in Mississippi and 5 other southern states began taking Gold Star dairy milk off of the shelves earlier today when the contamination was discovered. The milk, which is sold under the brand names of Favorite and Sally, bears a code date of March 21st, 1986. Louisiana, by the way, is not affected by this recall. Well, when we return with Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock, Chris will be along with the latest on 2 championship boxing matches scheduled for tonight. And I'll have more news as well as weather coming up in just a minute.
Pour on the great taste of Pepsi. Winn-Dixie has 2-liter bottles of your favorite Pepsi for only 97 cents each. Shop Winn-Dixie, America's supermarket.
What are you wearing?
It's Gain.
Isn't that a detergent?
Mm-hmm. You know, this is the blouse that you spilled ketchup on.
But it looks so wonderful.
Followed by hot fudge.
Smells wonderful, too.
I just washed it in Gain. Did a lot for this blouse.
You do a lot for this blouse.
I wonder, is it so clean because it smells so good?
Or maybe it smells so good because it's so clean.
Clean-smelling Gain.
Bone Ford!
Bone Ford!
Bone Ford!
Bone Ford!
Yes, we're making people happy when they come to Bone Ford. You can get this Mark III conversion and save $5,000. That's $5,000. Man, it has everything. But there's only one left. Or drive this Aerostar wagon, save $1,325, and get years of driving pleasure and plenty of fun. For cars, trucks, and vans, we cut prices to the bone. Get the happy feeling and come to Bone Ford.
Tums doesn't have it. Rolaids doesn't have it. Maalox Plus does.
We have what you need for complete relief of excess acid, heartburn, and gas. You need Malox, America's #1 antacid for excess acid and heartburn, plus the #1 reliever of painful gas pressure. Now both come in handy roll packs of Malox Plus tablets and fast-acting liquid. Compared to these others, only Malox Plus has all that, plus a great Swiss cream flavor. Get complete relief. Try Malox Plus.
Time for sports now, and we were just talking about the basketball tournament that begins in Baton Rouge with, what, 8 teams?
8 teams, 9:30 tip-off for LSU Thursday night, and they did get in kind of through the back door, Bill, as a matter of fact. They had to win in the SEC tournament to enhance their chances. They did just that. College basketball's defending champion highlights the 8-team Southeast Regional, which will, of course, include the hometown Tigers. Villanova will play Virginia Tech in the 3:30 game on Thursday at the Assembly Center. The day's first game at 1 has Georgia Tech up against Marist. Memphis State will meet Ball State at 8:05 Thursday night, and then LSU will follow with a 9:37 tip-off scheduled against 21-7 Purdue. Dale Brown, now at home, was at the other end of the spectrum in the SEC tourney in Lexington.
A lot of times you say things and you mean them, but there's a little bit of selfishness in it for you. I am so happy for these kids that they got a bid. And I'm so happy for these fantastic fans that bid is here in Baton Rouge.
And that bid is, or that tournament is possibly selling out. We'll have more on that tonight at 6 o'clock. Well, there'll be enough fighting tonight in Vegas to make a hockey game appear serene and calm. Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hitman Hearns are favored to win their respective bouts and then face off against each other. Hagler weighed in at 159.5 pounds today. His opponent, the Beast Mugabe, was in at 157. Hearns and James Schuler both weighed 160 pounds. Now, Tommy's record is 40-2 with 34 knockouts. His close friend Schuler is 22-0 with 16 KOs. Despite the friendship, Hearns says he'll come out swinging in this bout.
Even though that me and James know each other pretty well, you know, we know what this game is about. This is a business.
When I get in that ring March the 10th, I would do what I always do. I would come out there and I'll throw punches and I'll be victorious again.
Yeah, the fights are on pay-per-view only and can be seen here in town at the Superdome. Doors there open at 7. The action will start around 8. There are 3 different fights on the card. Jockey Angel Cordero Jr. is in serious but stable condition in the surgical intensive care ward at New York University Medical Center. The 43-year-old rider from Puerto Rico was hurt last Saturday in the 4th race here at Aqueduct. Watch as his horse Highfalutin throws him and then another horse in the race tramples him. Cordero has no broken bones, but did need surgery for a lacerated liver. Doctors say that in time he will be able to ride again. Well, the Mets, who got such good news in their exhibition game yesterday when Dwight Gooden pitched, got some bad news today. Outfielder Darryl Strawberry did not travel with the team because of slight tendonitis in his right knee. He'll be evaluated on a day-to-day basis. College baseball today, Tulane a winner over St. Louis. St. Louis is 0-11. The Wave now 11-2. They are ranked 21st in the latest poll. We'll have highlights of that at 6. The NFL will be focusing on the possible use of television replays and officiating at their league meetings as they open today in Palm Springs. Also, the commissioner has handed down a drug testing plan, which we'll tell you about at 6 o'clock. Saints general manager Jim Finks and head coach Jim Mora are there for the gathering, but before they left, both said they were impressed with the Saints in their 3-day minicamp. Mora liked the way the players adapted to his complex system.
From what I've seen, you know, there's not a whole lot that we put in that we couldn't do. Again, we give, and I told Jim and John this yesterday, we give them a lot of stuff, and even in training camp we'll give them a lot of stuff. Now, we won't go into a game and do all the things that we did out here in this mini camp. We probably did some things in here. We may not even ever run in a game in 1986. But we're going to expose them to these things in a mini camp. We're going to expose them to these things during training camp, and then say in the middle of the season if we want to stick in a play or a formation or a set or something, at least they've had the exposure. And
the Saints will hold another mini-camp after the April draft. That would be in May. Well, it's hardly a sporting event, but everyone who shows up there is at least a good sport. I'm talking about the Italian Open, and that was, of course, today at City Park. The annual event benefits St. Michael's School. Now, watch, this is the kind of shot you see most of the day. It does not benefit one's golf game. Some people still playing the 19th hole as they look at Morton Anderson going to the left on this one. But anyway, before teeing off, I talked with Mac Brown and Saints punter Brian Hansen.
As far as for me, punting and golfing are very much the same. It's a mental game, and it's something you got to keep after. And keep your head down and follow through. That's about it.
Well, I think, Chris, with the intensity here and the great golfers that are out here today, it's really hard to do business other than just golfing and partying today. But there's some great athletes out here. In fact, I've heard by 4 o'clock a lot of them would think they could play for us.
And there are still some people out there looking for lost golf balls.
And will be.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, when Eyewitness News continues, Miles gives us a look at what we can expect for the remainder of the week. And then we'll find there's money to be made if you're fond of dogs.
You can travel the universe looking for a gold medal deal on a tough Chevy truck. But in the greater New Orleans area, there's only one way to go. Go for the gold. Brian's Chevy Town is your gold medal Chevy truck dealer with award-winning discounts every day on every Chevy truck in stock. So why settle for less? Go for the gold at your gold medal Chevy dealer, Brian's Chevy Town, Airline Highway, Metairie.
I guess you could say I had everything. I had a good job, beautiful house. I had a wonderful wife and 2 great kids. I also had a cocaine habit. First it cost me my job, then it cost me my house. And before I got help and stopped, it cost me my family. I guess I'm lucky. Still got my health.
Last year, Bill York began a new job and a new life because it's never too late for a new beginning.
Her fish, from some of the finest available. Her dish, light seafood entrees. Mrs. Paul's, her fish makes the dish.
We're opening the door, making groceries on a brand new Schwegman store. Making groceries.
4 Sylvania light bulbs for about 7 cents apiece. That's the kind of bargain Schwegman is famous for. You buy the 4-pack for $1.29, then mail in for a $1 rebate. Your final cost, 29 cents for 4 Sylvania light bulbs this week at Schwegman.
The biggest and the best. Come and be our guest. Making groceries.
A grand opening.
Schwegman style.
Oh, weather-wise, it was a beauty today, and the question is, will there be more like it this week? Miles?
Well, I think it's going to continue to be fairly warm, Bill. We broke a record today, or tied a record, I should say, at the airport up to 82 degrees and pretty close all around the area. Right now we have 78 outside, 64% humidity, winds out of the south of 13, and the pressure 2991 and steady. At Audubon Park today, 83 was the top, but that did not break a record, sorry, and this morning's low 63. Well, across the area right now, we still have a few 80s to talk about. It's 80 at Baton Rouge and up at Alexandria, and as you get closer to the cool water, the temperatures go down slowly. We're 78 right around the metro area, but Biloxi reports some fog right now, about 3 miles visibility. There's fog out there. I think it's going to march across the marshlands probably later on, and we'll have fog tonight, but there's 70 right now. You cannot see the fog on this satellite imagery, but you can see lots of clear skies down here. The winds continue out of the south, pumping that moisture in, and with the increased moisture, I think we'll just be seeing the showers and thunderstorms later on, but fog first, and that's tonight. What we're looking at now, we're just going to call it the national satellite picture and go ahead and put the fronts on it. There's a big low-pressure system right over the Windy City, and a trailing cold front coming down to about the Shreveport area. You can see it right here. Lots of warm air moving up into this warm sector here, even some thunderstorms. Some fairly sizable thunderstorms developed last night along the front here in Oklahoma and Arkansas, and are now pushing up into the Ohio Valley. Champaign, Illinois had 75-mile-per-hour winds, and about 4 tornadoes touched down in Morgan County just to the southwest of Indianapolis. And it's very, very warm just ahead of it. We're going to show you the 5 o'clock temperatures. Notice the 72 up at Pittsburgh. And just a few days ago, they were in the teens there. In fact, they had a 0 low, I think it was Saturday morning. What a change. And in fact, some records being broken up at Baltimore. They hit 78 today. They were in the teens a few days ago. So all this warmth is coming up here. And of course, with the clash of air masses, we have the thunderstorms. It is currently raining from Cleveland over to Sandusky down to about Bowling Green, Kentucky. And this area moving into the Cincinnati vicinity has prompted the Severe Storms Forecast Center to issue a tornado watch. Valid till about 11 o'clock Eastern tonight. All this thunderstorm activity continues to move towards the east. Now, by tomorrow, we're going to go back into the warm sector. That's not really going to change a whole lot. The chance for showers and thunderstorms will be increasing every day, and tomorrow in Texas is where the next round of showers and some possibly severe thunderstorms in the Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle It'll be moving into our area by about Wednesday. High temperatures tomorrow into the 80s once again across southeast Louisiana, but a little cooler right along the coast, and of course much cooler off to the north. For us, partly cloudy and mild this evening. Some coastal fog will be increasing. It's there already. Temperatures dropping into the 60s by about 8 o'clock tonight. And then the dense fog will be developing by midnight, maybe before midnight, with temperatures in the 60s, as you can see. Tomorrow, fog will be lifting about midday, then partly cloudy and warm, with isolated afternoon showers and a high temperature 82 again. And then looks like a good chance for evening thunderstorms on Wednesday. The thunderstorm chances peak on Thursday and Friday, and then a little bit cooler, but generally above normal temperatures going all the way into the weekend. Pretty good forecast, and we need the rain. Bill?
All right. Looks pretty good to me. All right. When we return, Tom Foreman shows us if your job is going to the dogs, it may be just God sent in disguise. Coming up after this.
Ooh, bright up, dressing up, pop, pop, pop it up. You love it all. Mazola's got no cholesterol. Bake it up, kebab it up, walk it up. You love it all. Mazola's got no cholesterol. So crisp it, toss it, pop, pop, pop it, walk it, bake it, kebab it up. You love it all. Mazola's got no cholesterol at all. No cholesterol at all.
I don't know what I like best about Gorton's crunchy fish sticks and fillets. What goes into them, or what doesn't? What goes into them is lots of mild, flaky white fish with a delicious crunch.
That's what I like, Mom.
What doesn't go into them is any preservatives. Absolutely none.
Mom, can I have seconds?
With Gorton's, I really feel good about what they're eating and what they aren't.
Gorton's crunchy fish sticks and fillets. Absolutely no preservatives. And Mom, no leftovers.
Trust the Gorton's fishermen.
Diabetes affects every part of the body, yet people often seek treatment only after the damage is done. But at the Diabetes Treatment Center, you'll take control of your diabetes before it's too late. Because there is one thing you can count on. If you give diabetes an inch, it'll take a foot. Take the most important step of your life. Call the Diabetes Treatment Center now.
Hold it! Everybody knows Nissan dealers have the newest compact trucks. Now they have their lowest financing, 7.7. Save up to $750 on fuel-injected standards, up to $1,350 on Nissan's roomiest long bed, up to $2,000 on the King Cab 4x. Newest trucks with prices that start at $6,509. Our lowest financing ever, but 7.7 ends April 30th. See your Louisiana Nissan dealer for big truck savings, but now.
Take a walk on the wild side. Visit the Louisiana Nature Center on Lake Forest Boulevard in New Orleans East, where a wilderness world awaits you.
Well, if you're looking for a new career because you think your current job is going to the dogs, you might consider doing just that, going to the dogs. Seems there's money to be made in dog grooming, but Tom Foreman says first you've got to know how.
New Orleans is known for a few institutions of higher learning, hallowed halls where bright, eager students probe the mysteries of science and art. Places like the New Orleans School of Dog Grooming. Yes, you too can learn the delicate art of poodle primping, and you'd be surprised how many folks are doing just that.
Okay, be careful right here at this point.
The school in Metairie has trained countless dog groomers since it opened 14 years ago, and yes, the students take it all very seriously.
And when you do it yourself, it's not so easy. It's not an idiot that could do it. You have to have patience for the dog, and you have to have something, you have to listen to you.
Cindy Clement used to be a student. Now she's one of the teachers.
Most of them, to begin with, they don't want to be here. It's kind of a scary environment. It's loud noises. It's everything they don't like, bath clip, and, you know, we have
You're talking about the students here or the dogs?
The dogs. The dogs.
You know, there are even textbooks for all of this. Books that tell you how to clip everything from a Cocker Spaniel to, of course, my personal favorite, the giant Schnauzer. Of course, the students start off just handling rough cuts, and they need a lot of help. But by the time a month has passed, most students are ready to take home their degrees, ready to unleash their skills on a waiting public. Tom Foreman, Channel 4 Eyewitness News.
All right, Tom. Well, that's going to just about wrap up the 5 o'clock edition of Eyewitness News. In case you joined us late tonight, our top story had to do with the falling gasoline prices. And while gas is going for as little as 62.9 cents a gallon in Denver, that is not the case in New Orleans, although it is not uncommon to find unleaded, high-test gasoline at below $1 a gallon. Most people surveyed by this station think, though, that it's going to be short-lived. Short-lived or short-lived? Either's correct, I think. All right, coming up on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock with Garland and Angela tonight. More on the tense standoff between New Orleans firefighters and city officials. What would the city do without fire protection? More than a dozen schools on the North Shore have leaky roofs. Complaints to the parishes are increasing. Action reporter Bill Campo gets some help for a Thibodeau man who is determined to get back to work. But right now, it's Dan Ratheran, the CBS Evening News.